Okay, live video has a tendency to terrify lawyers because, of course, we might muck it up and we can't edit it out because once it's there and you know someone has probably done a screenshot of whatever went wrong. But there are three very good reasons why I think lawyers should consider live video as part of their content mix. My name is Chris Hargraves, and I am aware of the irony that this is a pre-recorded video that I'm doing about live video, but let's barrel on, and you can find Digital Marketing Mastery, which is what this series is, and more excellent things at digitalmarketingforlawyers.com, and I would encourage you to subscribe and do all that stuff. Normally I say that at the end. Today I am mixing it up by throwing it in here. Let's talk about live video, and I have three pretty good, I think, reasons why live video is worthy of your consideration. Okay? You already know that I don't think video needs to be the be-all and end-all of your content mix, contrary to what some people are saying at the moment about it. But I do think that if you're going to get into video, live video is actually a worthwhile starting point. A lot of people are going to tell you that maybe pre-recorded is the safer option. I'm going to tell you I think maybe live video is a better starting point than pre-recorded video. Why is it? There are three main reasons. Okay? The first one is that there is no editing involved. So once it is there, it is there. It is done. You don't have anything else to do. You don't need to apply filters, you don't need to do color grading, you don't need to check the audio. Well, you do need to check it to make sure you actually said anything on your live video, but you're done. You sit down for 5 minutes or whatever it is in front of your phone, you talk to your phone or the person holding your phone for you, and then it is done. There is no mucking around, there is no revision, there is no anything. Now, this, of course, offers a degree of freak-outedness, I guess, for some people. It does mean you need to know what you're going to say, roughly, and it does mean you need to be able to actually get it articulated in a way that makes sense without having to do 16 different revisions. But other than those slight hurdles, you don't have all of the extra steps. So it's a lot faster in terms of a multimedia production than doing a pre-recorded video and then having to do the rendering and all the other processes that get involved. So it is fast. Second is connected with the first, that right at the moment, and I don't think this will be the case forever as technology catches up, but right at the moment, people have relatively modest expectations of the production value of live video. Now, I've spoken about production value before, but if you're doing it live, generally speaking, people don't have a high degree of expectations about the quality of your video or the quality of your audio. Normally, these are in fact not going to be limited by the technology you're using so much as the speed of your internet connection. So doing live video does remove some of that added burden of having to wonder, oh geez, do we need a production company? Do we need all this crazy equipment? Because right at the moment we're in that nice sweet spot where people don't care too much. You know, as long as your footage is stable on a tripod, your audio is relatively clear, people will put up with a lot of things on live video in exchange for good content and interaction that they might not put up with if it looks like you tried to spend $10,000 to make a video and just failed miserably. Okay, so that is number two, that people have lower expectations. Number three, and this is connected with number one to some extent, but basically it's the speed of execution. So it's not just the speed with which you can produce the final product, but rather the speed with which you can jump onto an issue and record a live video about it and have your thoughts or your content out there immediately. This is particularly useful if you're adopting some form of newsjacking strategy that I've spoken about in the past. A case gets handed down, an event happens, something happens that you want to comment on. If you can get a live video done and out there very quickly, you can then send it to a bunch of relevant contacts or journalists or whatever your strategy is going to be faster than someone who goes, oh, geez, I better sit down and write a blog post about this. Oh, but we've got to read the whole case, and then it's got to go through the committee, and then it's got to do the other thing, and then I've got to proofread it. If you just do a live video about it, as soon as you have the requisite amount of knowledge, that will be a much faster entry point into the public space where you then have a resource you can share with people. And if you are fast enough and at the forefront of delivering that information, that can actually be a useful thing to have in your arsenal, because you then become the person who is always at the front of the developments, rather than the person who releases an article 6 weeks after everyone else because you were busy and then someone didn't have time to read it and then the committee wasn't meeting that week or whatever. So if you can execute quickly and have that into the space where people are consuming information to sort of capitalize on the news cycle about the particular event, then that is actually a very useful thing to do too. So those are our 3 main positives, really, about doing live video as opposed to pre-recorded. It's faster and easier to put together. People don't have an extremely high expectation of production value, and you can get it into the marketplace very quickly, which is good in particular for a newsjacking strategy. So give live video a crack if you haven't. You've probably got a Facebook page you can do it from. If not, you might have a YouTube channel you can do it from. And if you don't have either of those things, frankly, you can make one in the space of a few seconds. So don't let that be an excuse to stop you. Just give it a go, see what happens, and start learning how to use that medium effectively and what topics it might be good for and what topics it might be less good for. That's all I had for today, and I'll see you next time.